Hello everyone, and welcome to Kareniya's room. Because I'm a little bit busy and also kind of a lazy bastard, I thought that instead of doing a midway recap like I originally planned, I'm just going to go through with a tier list, just to save myself some time and effort, because I also have a lot of anime to watch, as well as working on other videos, which I think are honestly a lot more worth my time, like my what will I be watching for next season and a future review of the Takagi-san movie. Stay tuned for those. So for today, we are just going to do a tier list of what we have so far for the summer of 2023. I'm borrowing this list from tiermaker.com, and this is what we currently have. I'm a little bit zoomed in just so I can read things a little bit easier. But this is this. This is all the shows that we have here on MyAnimeList, plus a couple others, and we're going to go through them. So we have, originally we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 categories, but I've added an extra 2, which is didn't watch and saving for later. Just because there are certain things which I didn't watch because I can't watch sequels to stuff I haven't seen, or it's stuff that I deliberately skipped because it just looked not for me, which I know as a reviewer is probably not the best thing to skip stuff, but I have to whittle it down to something, okay? But trust me, there are still at least a good amount of shows on here that I have watched. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Starting off with Am I Actually the Strongest, which is this one right here in my hand. It will be our first one, and it will be going in the mid category. It is nothing special. It is a simple isekai story, reincarnated into the kind of a noble family of some regard. And we have supernatural beings here, like there's a red-haired fox lady, which we can kind of see here on the image. And that's the only character I really know besides the main boy. I know there's this blonde-haired girl, but we only really see her in the first episode, which I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know really anything about her. I'm putting it here in mid so far because that's the best way I can rate this particular show. It's nothing offensive, but it's nothing bad either, at least for the most part. There's a certain scene maybe halfway through, which it's a little weird, to say the least, but otherwise I'm going to keep it here. This is going to be, I guess, our benchmark. Ayaka I didn't watch. I saw the trailers. I just didn't care, so it goes there. I won't say much about it because I can't. All I know is what I saw in the trailers, and it just doesn't look interesting. This one is a saving for later because I do plan to watch this within the next couple of days. It is Bang Dream! It's My Go! I am not a person who has ever been into the Bang Dream fandom or known the series at all, but I do plan on at least giving this one a shot because I hear it's based in rock music, and as a fan of rock music, you can't go wrong with that. So, it's not here on the Didn't Watch. I will just be watching it, but I have to finish a couple of my other seasonals first because I'm quite behind on a few of them, but I will be watching this. Sorry, here I'm just looking here. I believe this one is Bastard. Bastard is not one I have seen, but I'll put it in the saving for later. I know that I can watch it somewhere. I believe it's on Netflix, so I'll have to give it an episode as well, and then I will give a more informed opinion. But for now, that's where I will leave it there because I don't really know anything about this. I haven't seen the trailers, but I will watch it eventually. Reign of the Seven Spellblades, I'm putting it here in the mid. I gave it 2 episodes before I kind of soft dropped it, but I think I will pick this one back up just to give it a chance. It's kind of just more kind of fantasy action-y kind of show with a kind of Hogwarts twist in a sense, where it's kind of like wizardry and stuff. It's not too bad. I just don't think it's like the most interesting thing that is out here, but I do think it's a bit unfair to drop it after 2 episodes because had some enjoyment, at least to some degree, with it. So I will be picking this one back up, but it's nothing that I'm thinking so far is super exciting. Another one in the didn't watch is Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, second half, because I have not seen the second half of the Thousand Year Blood War, nor have I seen Bleach itself, because it is like, what, 200 to 300 episodes? I ain't got the time for that right now. Bungo Stray Dogs, that is a 5th season. I have not even seen seasons 4 to 1. Now, this particular property, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to be looking at all the thumbnails to decide which one this is, because I can't see it right here. Oh, okay, so it's Card Fight Vanguard. Not seen it. Not only for the fact that it is a season 3, but well, that's probably it. I just haven't seen Card Fight, and I don't know if I really care to. So, it's going in the didn't watch. Maybe in the future I'll give Card Fight a check, and if not, then it's just going to stay there. I don't know. Can't be bothered. Our first show in the good category, The Masterful Cat is depressed again today. I quite enjoy this. I love our dynamic between our main office lady girl and our big black house husband cat. I think these two have a great comedic pairing together. I've got to say, the art from Gohan's is not as bad as the art that's in The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, which we will get into. But I do definitely think that it's at least more pleasing to look at than that show, at least for the first 5 minutes of it. But other than that, I think it's a lot more driven by the weird aspect of this big black cat who's kind of... I mean, he goes in public too, and people see him, much to the chagrin of the owner, which is this office lady. I don't remember her name, unfortunately. But she is great too. She's a lot of goofy fun, and I think this is one that I would recommend if you just want a nice, simple comedy. That's all I can really say about it. So let's move on. Oh yeah, this one, Classroom for Heroes, it sucks. I gave it 1 episode, couldn't even finish it. Because here's my mantra. I think, and I'm probably not unique in saying this, but I think that the worst thing that a show can do is not be terrible, but be boring. If you know anything about Tenku Danzai Skelter Heaven, which is regarded as one of the worst anime ever, especially because it's the lowest rated on MyAnimeList, I didn't give that a 1, I gave that a 2. And I gave Mars of Destruction, an equally bad anime, a 1. And now why did I do that, despite apparently the other being worse than the latter? Well, Mars of Destruction was boring. It had nothing to it that I even cared about, whereas Danzai Skelter Heaven at least had terrible CGI, weird-ass moments in it, and it at least was a lot more memorable for being a dumpster fire. This goes in the trash because I gave it halfway through the episode, and even a little ecchi does not save you. I think this is boring, and I think if you're going to watch anything, in my personal opinion, don't even think about Classroom for Heroes. In another change of pace, though, Dark Gathering. I was not expecting to actually watch Dark Gathering, because I'm not a horror fan these days, really, when it comes to horror movies or horror TV shows or plays or whatever, and especially anime. I've never really seen a proper horror anime until this one, though I guess it's also a little bit more lighthearted than what you'd expect from a horror, but I think that's fine. I much more enjoy the aspect of the character dynamics more than the spooky, scary ghosts and all the spirits that try to give the viewer a scare, which, by the way, I will say, does not scare me. I think especially some of the moments like with the loud noises of the screaming is way more annoying than it's scary. But I think the character-wise, that saves it. Like, and makes it a great show. Because if it was just boring horror, I wouldn't have even given it some thought. But at least I love Yayoi. Like, our main girl with the purple hair and the skull irises. Like, she's great. I definitely say would watch this one. This is getting 25 episodes, I believe. So we're in for a long ride. I won't be able to actually say what I think about this fully until probably next season. Into the fall season. Because it's going to be airing for quite a while. Moving on, I've not seen this one because this is the season 3. Despite what they try to say, it's not season 2 of Devil is a Part-Timer. I've just not seen it because I haven't seen the original 2022 season. I've only seen the one from 2013. This one I also have not seen. This is season 2, I believe, of the show is called The Duke of Death and His Maid. Just haven't seen it. Gene of I also haven't seen. I've seen the trailers and I don't think it's all that interesting to me. I'm not a big sci-fi kind of guy, and I know I'm going in with preconceived notions, but it just doesn't seem like anything I really care to watch. I'm sorry. If you disagree with that, feel free to leave it in the comments, but it just, I don't know. Same goes with this one. Yeah, I know, I didn't watch it. I can't rate it. The Great Cleric just looks generic. Don't care for it. I don't really have a lot to say about Isekai, because a lot of it is just the same. So I'm not going to give a lot of it the time of day. My Happy Marriage is our first banger. I am a big sucker for romance, as you know. And I really enjoy the dynamic that our main characters, Mio and Kudo, have. I believe that's their names. I could always get it wrong for her. I think it's Mio or Miu, the main girl. And then Kudo is our main boy here. They have a nice dynamic. I'm not really a fan of our main girl's voice because I really don't like constant whisper talking. It gets grating a little bit. But I think it's good otherwise. I like the supernatural aspect, which we don't see too much of. We've seen it a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I hope we do explore it a little bit more as we go along. But otherwise, I would say this is an absolute must-watch. I think it's definitely one of the ones to look forward to this whole season. Moving on, we have Helk, which so far I think is doing pretty good. I don't have a whole lot to say other than I really love our main man, Helk. He's a big Giga Chad with a heart of gold, and he's like ridiculously overpowered. So, I mean, hey, I sometimes I'm kind of taken away from the overpowered hero kind of thing that especially Isekai tends to do. But in this, it's kind of a more lighthearted tone, apparently at least for the first half. So I can overlook it. It's kind of silly. It kind of reminds me in a sense of like you have this very strong, overpowered kind of guy, but it's a lot more silly at times, kind of like One Punch Man. But I would not compare the two because I'm not going to get butchered in the comments for saying Helk and One Punch Man are in the same category. But I would recommend watching Helk if you want something kind of, I don't know what you describe it as, but it's silly. It's just a lot of fun. It's nothing too serious at the moment, but I think it will get serious very soon based on what we've seen in episode, I believe we're on episode 5, or episode 6, or episode 4, one of them, our most recent episode. We've been put into a new place, and it's going to shake things up a little bit. Moving on, this is another one which I've only seen one episode of, but so far I think is actually good, is the Heretical Last Boss Queen, which is another similar Otome game reincarnation, where our main girl here in the red, she was reincarnated from a previous life into the body of a Otome game princess, who is kind of the evil baddie, kind of like My Next Life as a Villainess, and she wants to do her best to not die like is supposed to be in the game, much like Villainess. Now again, I keep saying that, But I mean, the plots are quite similar, I will say. However, I think this one has a little bit more of a different kind of feel to it. Villainess is a lot more lighthearted and comedic in tone, whereas this one is a little bit more grounded and kind of more, I guess, not so much comedic tone. So it's different, at least in that regard, and I've only seen one episode, but from what I have seen, I actually do quite enjoy it. Because, I mean, I really liked Villainess, so I think maybe this kind of change of tone might actually be a different take on that, and I'm all for it. This could easily move up to the banger. It could move down, but I think so far it's nice. Horimiya Peace, all the way up here. The comedy of Horimiya is always good, and that's what this particular season is mostly focusing on, which is its comedy, not so much its romance, but that's fine by me. I think the comedy of the original Horimiya is good, and now that we're getting kind of more focused on it in these bite-sized pieces of Horimiya, I love it. I need more! So go watch Horimiya if you haven't. I know, again, crucify me, I've not seen Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 yet, so I cannot watch this, but I will be watching it as soon as I can. Please don't kill me for this. I know Jujutsu Kaisen is apparently good, because everyone won't shut up about it. But I will get to it. Moving up also in the good is Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero. This was in my what will I be watching list, mostly on my I'm not sure, because I thought the poster, it kind of looked a bit but how wrong was I? I have a blast with this show. I love our main three characters. It's mostly the main two here. Our main man, Max, here, with this demon, who is our reincarnated demon lord, who is now this kind of big, goofy chibi form. And then we have the lovely Xenia. I love Xenia. You should know that I put her in my thumbnail for my previous tier list. She is great. And I think our studio Silverlink, Silverlink, they really love her too. They really love the lower half of her specifically. But I digress. If you want a goofy comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously, please go watch Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero. It's so good. On a different change of pace, though, our first bad will be Liar Liar. While it has at least a couple of redeeming qualities, i.e. a couple of certain characters, specifically this white-haired maid girl, I think she's quite cute. But otherwise, I think a lot of the other characters, like our main boy and the main redhead girl, are a little insufferable. I don't really like them, personally. And I'm not too interested in a lot of these, like, battle games that they've been doing. Because, you can make a battle game kind of interesting. To me, I know I'm probably get some flack for it, but I think Kakegurui is a fun anime to watch when it comes to gambling games, for example. Which is, it's not quite gambling in this, obviously. Like, they're playing for stars, which is, I guess you can kind of say it is. But it's a bit different in this one. But at least Kakegurui has a great cast of characters, and it's a lot more entertaining than Liar Liar. So, I mean, would I recommend this one? No. But I'm at least sticking with this one, because I'm already kind of like 5 or 6 episodes in. I'm kind of too deep to stop. But there you go. This one, I have no idea for the life of me what this one is. I can't remember the poster by any means. Masamune-kun's Revenge, I've not seen Season 1, but I probably will give it a chance once again when I have time. So for now, there. Mononogatari, second season, I've not seen the original, so it's going there too. Mushoku Tensei, all the way up here. I don't need to say more. Mushoku Tensei is a banger. Go watch it. And let's move on to something else, because what else is there to say? Mushoku Tensei is one of the most enjoyable parts of the week. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses is good. It's one of the better romances of the season that I've watched, though it's not coming close to this. But it is still good. I love our main girl, Mie. She's very cute. She always forgets her glasses and has a permanent scowl on her face, which, as someone who likes comically serious characters who are like stone-faced and serious but say goofy things and do goofy things, I love that so much, and she makes it work so much. And I think their dynamic it's nice and cute. Can't really say too much else besides that. A couple of the side characters are alright. We don't really get to meet a lot of them. And I will say the first 5 minutes of episode 1, though, are gaudy. I do not like them for one bit. I think Gohan's, you need to relax. You're not reinventing the wheel here, and you don't need to. You don't need to do some of these weird perspectives for a slice of life romance. You don't need to. Like, save it for something that deserves it, personally. But I would say give this one a chance, at least. Then we have my unique skill makes me overpowered at level 1, I think is roughly what it's called. I'm going to put it in mid. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's all that interesting. I've only ever seen episode 1 so far, because I'm also behind on a lot of my seasonals, including this one. So I will have to give it a watch. The only thing that I ever remember is that this guy has this weird power about boss drops, and that there's a bunny girl here, like a literal bunny girl, while also wearing a bunny girl costume, because why not? And that's all I really know. So this could easily move down here, or shockingly could move up here. I don't know. We'll find out as soon as I watch more. My Tiny Senpai goes up here. I think this one is comically overhated. And it's not really even hated for a lot of the right reasons. Like, I saw a lot of buzz on Twitter about this, for example, which I know is not a great source, but nevertheless, a lot of people just didn't like it because they don't like the style of, of this kind of romance, and that they'll just look at this and they'll ignore it. Which, I mean, you don't have to watch it, you don't have to like it, that's perfectly fine. But I think just prejudging it without even giving it one episode is a bit unfair. So, But I love her, the main girl, Katase. She is fantastic, and I love her expressions, which I assume are a lot of them that are in the manga. A lot of the cattier expressions and whatnot. They're great. I will say, though, why is the ED, like the ending credits, so very reminiscent of Toradora? Like, I'm not going to say it's shameless, but I mean, like, and I know that it's probably not unique to Toradora, but the spinning umbrella thing, it screams Toradora. That's all I will say about that. But I think it's a great show anyway. Okay, I'm just going to put this one in didn't watch because I just don't know what it is. This one, though, absolutely fantastic. Rurouni Kenshin. I was not expecting to watch this one because I've mentioned preconceived notions, and I'm going to be a hypocrite in this regard. I had my givings about giving any kind of Rurouni Kenshin related media a chance, mostly because of Watsuki. Our author Nobuhiro Watsuki. If you don't know anything about what he did, I would say I'd recommend watching it on your own time because I don't really want to get into it in this video. But let's just say it's bad. It's real bad, dude, and it's a travesty that they let him back into the industry. Really bad. But I will say Rurouni Kenshin is at least something that's good, right? I never saw the original. I've not seen the original manga either, so I don't have any attachment to those. And I know some people do, and they were decrying some changes which I never knew about, so I don't care about that. But what I've seen in this is absolutely great. I love our characters, even if I think Main Boy's weird speech pattern of saying certain things kind of like Yoda is a bit weird. But I love his fighting. I love all the fights in this. And he has a very commanding aura. It's just great. And it has a very retro kind of feel, obviously, because it's based on a 90s manga. So that's also quite enjoyable, too. Would I recommend Rurouni Kenshin? Absolutely. Though I will say, always remember in mind, in a case like this, it's probably best to separate the art from the artist in this case, as hard as that may be, even for myself included. Because it's a banger. This anime is an absolute banger. Vending machine isekai I'm going to put here. It's nothing special except for the vending machine aspect, which is very unique, I would say. But it is actually enjoyable to some degree. I actually just finished it before I was doing this video, for what we got so far. It's not a bad show by any means, but again, it's also not like a great show. Like, I can't put it up here for the life of me, but I do think it's at least worth a watch. It's unique. It's fun. It doesn't take itself very seriously. And despite the really stupid premise, it's actually not too bad. Is that a ringing endorsement? I don't know. This is one I'm saving for later. I know this is another one on Netflix. This is Oka the Hidden Chambers. I've heard things about it, especially from a specific creator who apparently is the creator of this tier list, Mother's Basement. So I'll give this one a chance when I can. Just for now, again, I am swamped with other shows, so it's got to wait. I can't tell exactly what this show is, but let me scroll down to where we are here. I know it's going to be a lower one around where Rurouni Kenshin is, at least. Let me just see if I can find it, because I'm not sure if I can. Why is that there? I don't know. Could it be in here? I don't know. No, these are continuations. I'm just gonna put this in don't watch. I didn't watch. I can't tell what this is for the life of me, unfortunately. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. I'm gonna give it in the mid. I dropped this one, honestly, after 2 episodes. It's just not super interesting, unfortunately. I really wanted to like it because the art style is cute, and it's Doga Kobo, who are one of my favorite studios. But this one just didn't hit. I'm sorry. What is this one here? If I can find this one. It should be around here somewhere. Shadow vs. Flame, the 5th core of Shadow vs. Flame. Yeah, not seen it either, so unfortunate. This one, I can't tell exactly what that one is. It should be not very far away from here. Spy Classroom. Okay, Spy Classroom I've not seen. I'm sorry. Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 3 goes up here. I think this is the best arc of Rent-A-Girlfriend, and probably the best it's ever gotten since I last looked, which is about 280 chapters of the manga, and this is like not in the midpoint of the manga, but it's kind of like a little bit later on, but it's not quite in the middle yet. And everything else after this point is just nothing all that interesting. So, if you're going to watch anything from Rent-A-Girlfriend, this is the one to do it. Otherwise, don't bother. That's all I'll say about that. Sequel I haven't seen. Sweet Reincarnation. This is not one that I was interested in watching, so I didn't watch it. Cinderella Noir, I think is actually kind of good. I've only seen episode 1 so far, but I do think it is interesting, even though I'm not a mecha fan necessarily, and I only say that because I haven't seen a lot of mecha. But, I mean, the art looks good, I enjoy the voice acting, and overall I think the mech fights look kind of interesting and look kind of cool. I'm very enticed by sparkly things, I guess you could say. Once again, this is one I've only seen an episode of, so it can easily move up or down, but for now, from what I've seen, I like it. Temple goes in the mid category. This is not one, again, that is great, but it's also not one that is bad. I think it's just kind of in the middle. It's endearing. The cast is endearing, I should say. And admittedly, it's very ecchi, but at least it's not trying to hide it. So it knows what it is. It is just girls living in an all-girls temple or a nunnery or whatever, and there's the main boy who has to work for them because his father racked up a lot of debt at the temple, and he kind of sells himself into being their personal working maid. And a lot of ecchi ensues, and a lot of risque scenes ensue, as is to be expected. Is it worth a watch? I don't know. Depends if you like that kind of thing. I'm giving it a chance because I just think it's kind of interesting. So I'm not going to drop it. Because it's at least nothing that's going to put it down here. If it was down here, I would have. But if it's here, it's fine. This one, Dreaming Boy is a Realist, don't care for it. I really gave it one episode, and it was just super uninteresting and boring. This was one that I was really not sure about, that I mentioned in my video, that I put it there in passing, and I was right. So, don't have much to say about it. Just don't watch it. It's not all that good. And by not all that good, I mean it's not good. Atelier Ryza, also mid. Sorry to Atelier Ryza fans, but the anime adaptation is just not very good. I don't think it's too bad. I think the art is nice. I think Ryza Stout, our main girl here, and there's the other character, Lilla. I don't remember what her role is specifically, but she's alongside our alchemist main boy. They're both like the gray skinned people. I like her, but other than that, I don't really care for the other main characters, like our red-haired boy and our shorter blue or yellow-haired boy. Don't really care much for them. It's just unfortunate. The only other thing that's really worth of any note is just you could make a drinking game based on how many times an episode you could see Ryza Stout's thighs, just like in a close-up shot. You wouldn't die of alcohol poisoning, but you might get smashed at the very least. But as an adaptation, it stays here. It's fine. It's nothing like that I'm super interested in, but it's nothing that I can say is even in here, like not even close. But I'm in too deep, so I can't stop watching. Undead Murder Farce is also a banger. Absolute banger. I was not expecting to like this one. I don't tend to watch mystery shows, mystery thriller kind of shows, in this case with yokai solving mysteries, which is very interesting. But our main boy is just kind of like a goofy brute. I love him. We've got our main woman with the head in the cage. It's very interesting. I don't know too much about the maid that kind of joins them. She's kind of like a little bit more silent and kind of foreboding. But they make a nice trio, so I can't really hate that. I think the art on this is good, and I'm kind of enjoying the mystery aspect to it. I think the last mystery I ever saw was Hyoka, so I don't have like a super big list of mystery shows, but I think maybe this one will push me over the edge just to check out more. I think you should also check out Undead Murder Farce, because it is actually pretty good. Next up, this is the last one that will not be in an actual ranking list, which is Yohane the Parhelion. I gave this one actually one episode, but I decided maybe it would be better to actually watch the parent series of Love Live Sunshine before I give this one a shot, just to kind of familiarize myself with the series and the characters, to understand the dynamic, because I think it's a bit weird to start on a spin-off. I guess it'd be kind of like starting Breaking Bad with El Camino. Or, well, I guess maybe Better Call Saul, because that's a prequel for Breaking Bad. But, yeah, so that's in my plan to watch. I will watch it as soon as I get to Love Live Sunshine. And our final one on the list, and our final banger, Psalm 100 Bucket List of the Dead. I was not going to watch this one initially because I actually didn't really hear about it, honestly. This is actually the debut for the studio who makes this one, which is Bug Films. And I will say, for a debut, it's a hell of a debut. Like, you did a great job with this. The art very much pops out. It's very kind of like movie-esque, I guess, in a sense. A lot of the, if I remember correctly, like anytime I've watched it, it's always been kind of like in widescreen, like how like movies tend to be, which gives it a little bit of that more cinematic feel. I love our dynamics between our main boy, who's this like kind of carefree guy now that he doesn't have to work anymore because his world has fallen into a zombie apocalypse, and now he wants to make a bucket list of everything to do. And I think it's about a list of 100 things that he wants to do. And he's joined along the way by this girl here in the pink track wear named Shizuka. And there's another main boy. I honestly forget his name right now. And there will be another main girl who is blonde hair with giant tits, who I do not know her name. But we will meet them. We probably meet them in the next episode. I haven't seen it though yet. I'm a little bit behind, as I've mentioned. But I've seen at least up to episode 3 of Zom 100, and I've loved it. And I definitely think if you want something kind of apocalypse-esque, but in a bit more of a lighter tone, give Zom 100 a chance. Like, it is absolutely worth it. And that's our tier list. So before we end it, let's just go through a quick rundown. We're going to start with the stuff that is in the didn't watch and the stuff that's in the saving for later. So we have Ayaka, which I just had no interest in watching. We have the sequels to Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, and Bungo Stray Dogs, which I've not seen the originals for, as well as Card Fight, and Devil's a Part-Timer, The Duke of Death and His Maid, The Gene of I just was not interested in watching. I'm sorry. Along with The Great Cleric. Just looks boring and generic. And if I'm wrong about some of these, I'm sorry, but I watched the trailer. That's my information on it. Because I'm also very swamped. I didn't want to keep watching every single piece of media. Jujutsu Kaisen, I will eventually get to. And then I will probably watch Season 2 because I think Jujutsu Kaisen will be great. A lot of these like shonens that were coming out pre-Chainsaw Man that people tend to rave up, they were actually quite good, so I'm putting some stock in that. Masamune Kun's Revenge and Mononogatari I've not seen their first seasons. I don't know what this next show is here and this one, so I can't really rate those ones. Shadowverse I've not seen. This one I don't know. This one I do not remember. And then Sweet Reincarnation I had no interest. For the saving for later, we have Bang Dream It's My Go, which I will be watching here pretty soon. Just so I can actually watch this, and also because I need to watch probably 8 episodes if I like it. Then we have Bastard, which I will get around to as well. Oku, I don't know if it's Oka, The Hidden Chambers, which I will get around to as well. And Yohane the Parhelion, which I will get around to as soon as I finish Love Live Sunshine. In our trash category, we have Classroom for Heroes and The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. In the bad category, we have Liar Liar. In the mid category, we have Am I Actually the Strongest? Reign of the Seven Spellblades. My unique skill makes me unique, or my skill makes me unique at level 1, whatever. I don't remember what the show is called in English. Reborn as a Vending Machine, Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, Temple, and Atelier Ryza. In the good category, we have The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, Dark Gathering, Helk, The Heretical Last Boss Queen, which again, like this one and Synduality Noir, I've only seen 1 episode, so these can easily change in rankings. Level 1 Demon Lord and 1 Room Hero, The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, My Tiny Senpai, and Rent a Girlfriend. And to finish it off in the bangers, we have My Happy Marriage, Horimiya, The Missing Pieces, Mushoku Tensei, Rurouni Kenshin, Undead Murder Farce, and Zom 100. If you agree with my tier list, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, also let me know, because our opinions may differ quite easily, and that's okay. because we all have difference in opinion and taste, and tell me if there's anything that I actually should watch that I said that I didn't. As I mentioned before, I can't watch the sequels that I haven't seen already, but if these other ones like The Great Cleric, Sweet Reincarnation, The Gene of I, if I should watch those, tell me so. But to not make this any more longer than it has to be, that's where I'm going to end this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And with that, my name is Kareniya, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.